Hey there, island dreamers, locals, and anyone craving a slice of paradise. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, to the Fun in Key West podcast, where the vibe is always laid back, the stories are salty, and the drinks, well, they're definitely frozen. I'm your host, Michelle O'Connor, your unofficial tour guide to the Conquered Republic. Whether you're planning your first trip, your fifth trip, or you're just daydreaming about trading the cubicle for the ocean breeze, you are in the right place. Here's the deal. This podcast is your insider's guide to all things Key West. We're talking where to eat, hello, conch fritters and key lime pie, where to drink, spoiler alert, there will be rum, where to stay, and all the quirky, wonderful things that make Key West the one-of-a-kind paradise we all love. Plus, we'll keep you up to date on the latest happenings, festivals, events, maybe even the occasional Hemingway look-alike sighting. And just to keep things spicy, we'll be bringing on some amazing guests now and then, locals, business owners, and people who know the island like the back of their sandy hand. So grab your flip-flops, pour yourself a cold one, and let's escape to the island state of mind together, whether you're tuning in from your hammock or your commute, while wishing it was a hammock. We've got all the Key West goodness coming your way. Thanks for being here. It's going to be a lot of fun in Key West. Let's dive in.
Let's be honest. The true test of any relationship is trying to agree on where to eat dinner while on vacation or even at home. But thankfully, Key West isn't your average romantic getaway. Today, we're talking all about experiencing Key West as a couple. Sure, the island is romantic, but I don't think it's in a stuffy, rose petals on the hotel bed kind of way. It's more of a let's disconnect, grab a rum drink, and see where the night takes us vibe. We are definitely going to cover the classics today. Of course, you're going to watch the sunset, and obviously, you're going to eat your weight in key lime pie. But we're also diving into the weird, the quirky, and the totally unexpected adventures you probably didn't even know you needed to do together down in Key West. And speaking of avoiding that endless dinner debate, today's episode is brought to you by Key West Food Tours. It is honestly the ultimate built-in date. You get to wander the island, hear amazing local stories, and eat your way through hidden gems without having to plan a single thing. And a local does all the heavy lifting, and you just got to enjoy the bites. You can check them out over at FunInKeyWest.com/food tour. All right, grab a drink, settle in, and let's get into the ultimate couple's guide to Key West.
Welcome to Fun in Key West, where every day feels like a mini fest. Grab a drink, take it slow. We'll show you where the locals go. Food, fun, and stories to tell. Hidden gems you know so well. Your Key West experts here to say it's fun in Key West every day.
Welcome to another episode of the Fun in Key West podcast. I am so glad that you are joining me today. And today we're going to be talking about things to do in Key West for couples. So if you're joining me live, be sure to do a shout out so I can say hey. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments and we'll check in on those periodically. But as a couple, you come to Key West, and a lot of times you're thinking, well, we should do all of the iconic things. Certainly, you can do all of those iconic things, and we're going to talk about those. You can go watch the sunset. You're going to eat key lime pie. Of course, you're going to eat key lime pie. But let's talk about not only the classic romantic things that you can do in Key West, but we're also going to talk about the weird, the wonderful, and the things that you may not think about doing as a couple in Key West. So with that, I want to point out that our episode today is brought to you by Key West Food Tours, which honestly is a great way to experience Key West as a couple. It's a great way to explore the island. You get food, history, learns, and be able to pop in and see some hidden gems. You get to hear local stories, and you get a chance to wander Key West together without having to argue over where you're going to eat or what you're going to eat. So be sure to check out the food tours over at FunInKeyWest.com/food food tour. So Key West is romantic, but it's not one of those places where you immediately think, oh, this is where we're going to rose petals all over the bed and all that. I think Key West is a place where you go to disconnect, relax. It has that totally different vibe. You have the ability to come into Key West and just not worry about anything. As you've been probably monitoring a lot of the conversations we're having over on our Fun in Key West Facebook page, you're going to see that that's a lot of the comments that I get when I ask questions. It's a vibe, it's a feeling, it's a place that you come and you leave yourself out there as you just come as yourself. And I think that's what makes it a really fun place to come as a couple. It's romantic because Key West actually gives you that permission to slow down. It's a place where you can wander around, enjoy the sunset, but then you can head out and you go on a ghost tour and hear the ghost stories. You can stop into the rum bar or any place and have an amazing rum drink. You can go on a food tour. You have the roosters interrupting your conversations and you can go wander down side streets and just get lost in the moment with no particular place to be or to go. You can have quiet dinners, you can do spa days. It's not a place really, and we talk about this a lot, it's not a place where you go and it's a go, 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 and the day is completely filled with things to do. But some people, come as couples and they want to jet ski around the island. They want to do a bunch of cocktails. They want to do the ghost tours, and they want to experience as much as they possibly can. What's really fun about Key West is it absolutely lets you do all of that and more. So how do Kevin and I do Key West as a couple? Well, we have set up a plan where we're usually going to do one major thing a day. Maybe it's a food tour, maybe it's a cocktail class, maybe it's visiting a museum. It's doing something that's this is our bucket list thing for the day. This is what we're going to do. But Kevin really likes to go fishing. And so he'll get up early and he'll maybe go out on a charter, or he gets up early and loves to go take sunrise photos. You know what? That's not my thing. But here's the cool thing. While he's doing that, I head out and I go explore the island at my pace. I pop in and out of shops. I window shop. I check out souvenirs. I do all of those things. And I have no particular agenda. I can just go wander and do that. And then we come back and we get to tell each other all about what we did for the day. And so we have something to chat about. So if it's okay if you're that kind of couple. It's also 100% okay if you're the kind of couple that wants to be attached at the hip all day long, every day. Whatever works for you, there is something to do in Key West. And honestly, that's how you guys do Key West. This is how we do Key West. Over on the podcast, there are several recaps of our trips, and we talk about how we planned it, what we did. I'll put a link down in the show notes to those episodes where we talk about the things that we did and what he did and what I did and how we came back together. So as we go through this list of wonderful things that you can do as a couple in Key West, just keep your rhythm in mind. Pick an adventure. Maybe you do one a day, maybe you do two a day, but explore the island your way. And I'm hoping that I'm going to bring up not just the iconic things, but maybe some new twists and ideas that maybe you haven't thought of. Let me check in on the chat and see how everybody's doing here. I'm just saying hi. Here's another one. Hi back. Thank you so much for being here, part of it. So as we go through and talk about Key West and exploring Key West as a couple, I'm going to start with all the classics. I'm going to have to. So we're going to start off with, obviously, Mallory Square Celebration. Yes, it's touristy. Yes, it's crowded. Yes, you should do it at least once. You've got the street performers. You have the vendors. You have the boats out on the water that you can watch. You have that big official, we are in Key West feeling. And I think that's important to put into place. It's a great place for couples just to go experience a lively sunset experience. So Mallory Square, celebration starts about an hour-ish before sunset and then goes to about an hour after sunset. So as you start to go through and experience this, plan accordingly. Grab yourself a cocktail, wander around. Be sure to sit if you can, or just find the railing and lean against it and have yourself a beautiful view of the sunset. I always encourage you, and Kevin will do the same, encourage you to stay after that sun drops into the water, because that's when those really nice, beautiful colors come up. So as you continue on, another thing that you can do in Key West is take a sunset cruise. There are many options that you can do, and it's going to depend on the vibe that you want to have. So you can go out on Fury and do Commotion on the Ocean. You've got a live band, you're out on the catamaran, you can do all kinds, wander around, they have light appetizers, have the bar there, and it's a more party atmosphere. If you're looking for something a little more quiet and a little more cozy, check out Floridays. I think they limit their sunset to about 15 or 16 people. Of course, you have Danger, which does the wine and wind and wine sale. So you can go in and be able to taste wines, beers, and have light appetizers and go out on the Danger sailboat. That's a great way to experience a sunset from a water view, especially if you're a couple. Here's one that I'm not sure. I had a couple people who were like, this might be interesting, this might not be interesting. A Duval stroll. Now, you could do that in the morning when it's not as crowded, and you could window shop. You could do it in the afternoon, and when it's not so busy. The caveat to that is if there is a cruise ship in town, Duval's going to be busy. So just plan ahead. But it's a great place just to go with no strict itinerary. You can just wander and experience it. Maybe you decide one afternoon you're just going to go experience the live music, and so you can wander in and out. And what I always tell people is, you don't like the music that's playing here, get up, go 2 doors down, and you're going to have a totally different vibe. So many places to choose from. And I talked about this earlier because our sponsor of our show today is the food tours, the Key West food tours. And so that you can learn all about the food tours that they have over at FunInKeyWest.com/food tour. But I think a food tour is an amazing way to experience Key West as a couple. It's a built-in date, right? You're going to be with a small group of people, and you're going to be able to have food and cocktails and hear stories. And nobody has to plan anything or where they're going to go. I know for Kevin and I, we start to go, well, where do you want to eat? I don't know, where do you want to eat? And if you're that couple that keeps having that circular conversation, then a food tour is going to solve that problem and stop that conversation, because nobody has to pick. It's not anybody's fault if somebody doesn't like it. So you get to have some great bites. You get to learn the history of Key West. You get to wander through Key West neighborhoods with a local, ask them all kinds of questions, and probably try a place that you were thinking about trying but didn't really know if you should, and then that's what you can do. And it's a really great thing to do early in your trip, because if you find a new favorite place, you can go back and check it out. The Key West Food Tour offers multiple food tours. They have the southernmost food tasting and cultural walking tour, where you're going to learn about the food influences on Key West, and you're going to have those classic Key West flavors. They also have an historic seaport and cultural walking tour. So that's going to be more seafood based, and it's going to be around the historic seaport. If you are into Hemingway, they do have a Hemingway experience. And so that offers a little bit of a twist on the island and the history of the island. And of course, they have a craft cocktail crawl. That one's a lot of fun, so be sure to check those out. Again, it's FunInKeyWest.com/food tour. So another thing that's really a lot of fun, and we did this the last time, is we did a cocktail class. Let me back that up. So we did what was history, Key West through cocktails history class, and this was over at the Key West Food Show. And we had 5 cocktails, and we all got to learn how to make them, taste them, and learn the history of Key West through cocktails. And that was a lot of fun. Something I really think you should check out. And there's more information, obviously, that I'll put in the show notes below. Another thing that you could check out is over at Key West First Legal Rum, they do a mojito class. So if you really want to learn how to make the perfect mojito, be sure to check out them. And there's various other cocktail classes around, and I'll link some of more of those in the show notes. So we now can explore the waters. You can do it by going out on a sunset sail. There's other ways that you can go enjoy that. But let's say you want to be more adventurous. Go out and explore the island on jet ski. Most of the jet ski tours take you all the way around the island, and it's just a fun and fabulous way to experience Key West from a different perspective. We're out with a group of people, and it's a lot of fun. It's a different way, especially if you're looking for an adrenaline rush. If you're looking for something a little on the slower pace, I love going out in kayaking. And there's multiple ways to kayak around Key West. And so you can go through the mangroves. They have nighttime kayaking that you can do. This is a great thing if you are a beginner. So you can do a tandem kayak, and so you don't feel like you're all by yourself. But the water is really shallow. It's beautiful, and it's a really fun way on a slower pace to really enjoy the waters around Key West. One of my absolute favorite things to do in Key West is to take a private charter out to the sandbar. And I have to say, Captain Howie over at Make It So Charters does an amazing job with that. And so he takes you out to the sandbar, and you're able to then have the ability to snorkel and do all of those things out there and be able to take a lunch or watch sunset from out there and do all of that. So be sure to check out that if that's something that you're interested in. If you're into nature and you want to explore nature more, of course you have the Key West Butterfly and Nature Conservatory. Be sure to check out on their calendar to book a meeting with Rhett and Scarlett, the local flamingos there at the Butterfly Conservatory. That is an amazing experience. It books up really quick and far in advance. So if you really want to do that, be sure to check out that calendar on their website. But it's a great place just to sit there and have that experience of meeting the flamingos up close and personal. If you want to explore a beach and do history around that, of course, you have Fort Zach Taylor State Park, and of course you have the Dry Tortugas if you wanted to head out there and snorkel and do an all-day adventure that way. Gardening, of course, I'm going to tell you every time, go explore the West Martello Tower. The Key West Garden Club has a beautiful selection of plants over there. That's a free admission, although I do recommend that you give them a donation. If you love history and want to explore the historic side of Key West, which I always lean into, on my Historic Marker Mondays, of course, you have the Hemingway home. You can go over there, hear all the stories about Hemingway and how they remodeled the home, see the Hemingway cats. You have the Truman Little White House, and you can go explore that and learn how that residence was used by President Truman, but what other dignitaries have been there and stayed there. And there's so many stories as you go through that tour. I have to tell you, that is a great place. One of the places that Kevin and I found interesting just to wander was the Audubon House in the Tropical Gardens. That is when you're standing outside of it from Mallory Square and you see the outside, you don't know and can't really fathom how deep that is in the back. And there's a beautiful garden back there. And it's just a great place just to wander and sit and just enjoy all of the tropical gardens there. If you want to do a little bit more quirky stuff, you can obviously go on a ghost tour. There's multiple ghost tours that you can do. You can do a walking tour. You can go out on the trolley and do that. You can go out to the East Martello and do that and meet Robert the Doll. You can go over to the firehouse and do a firehouse haunted stroll. So there's lots of options out there if that's something that you want to do. A really fun thing to do is stop in over on Fitzpatrick Street next to Kino Sandals is Rodriguez Cigars, and you can go in there, and this is family owned, multi-generations. If you're into cigars or just want to learn about cigars, great place to go in. They're really good about letting you know all about the cigars, their history, their backstory, and you can see them do a little bit of cigar rolling and learn about the history of cigars in Key West. I happen, because if you haven't heard by now or checked it out, the Fun in Key West book club. So if you go over to FunInKeyWest.com and check out the book club, we do a wonderful book club where we meet virtually through a Facebook group. And every month we have a book that is either based or has some sort of connection to Key West or the Florida Keys. And if you love books, I suggest you head over to the Key West Island bookstore and check them out. They have new and used books over there, some amazing books that you probably didn't even know you needed. She will ship them home for you. Suzanne will take care of you. But there is an end in the bookstore that is devoted completely to the Fun in Key West books. So what we have read and what we are currently reading will be there. So be sure to check that out. If you're looking for things beyond a tour, and you don't necessarily want to go on a tour, of course, you can do a breakfast or brunch date. Lots of ideas. You can sit outside at Blue Heaven. You can go over to Ram's Head and do the Bloody Mary custom bar. There's all kinds of things. I happen to like also Breakfast Club 2. They have an amazing breakfast there. You can do your own key lime pie stroll. So figure out everywhere you go, grab a slice, share it, and see which one ends up being your favorite. Which one were you surprised by? So that's a lot of fun. Maybe you check out all the places in town that do Cuban coffee or the regular coffee. Doing Work Coffee there on Duval next to Wicked Lick. They have an amazing cup of coffee. Be sure to check them out and tell Daniel I said hi. Maybe you do dinner with a view. Maybe you go to Hot Tin Roof, make a reservation. Maybe you make a reservation over at Latitudes and really do it up and do something fancy. Go find dessert after sunset. You've watched sunset and now go stroll around and have some ice cream or find some of those large cookies or, again, key lime pie, or head over to Better Than Sex. Make sure you check for reservations there. But that's an amazing adventure as a couple to experience. Maybe you go find some live music and you stay a little bit longer than you thought. One of the things I love to do at the end of the evening is head over to Vino's and have a very nice glass of wine on their front porch and just people watch and, exhale and talk about the day that we had. So I'm going to run through some sample itineraries and give you some ideas. This isn't necessarily something that you would do all day or in one day. It's an idea of things that maybe you do over a period of days. So if you are that classic romantic couple, you do that morning coffee stroll. Maybe you hit the Hemingway House and the Butterfly Conservatory. Maybe then you spend some time around the afternoon in the beach or around the pool. And then you go out on a sunset cruise. That'd be a pretty full day, right? And then maybe you cap it off with a light dinner and some live music. If you are the foodie couple, you're going to probably want to go on the food tour. You're going to probably want to check out all the key lime pie. You're probably going to take a cocktail class. You're going to want to make sure you hit those happy hours just so that you can save some money as you start to eat and drink your way through Key West. If you're looking for a list of some really good happy hours, again, head over to FunInKeyWest.com. Sign up for our newsletter that gets you on the list for the happy hour list. Maybe you just do a late night walk through Old Town, enjoying some of the live music that's still going on. If you want to be a little bit more adventurous, you do the jet skis, you head out and explore the parks or the dry tortugas, you do a sunset sail from the water, you do Duval Street and you enjoy the music and the drinks and all of that. And so there's so much that you can do in Key West. And it's one of those places where we've had the conversation on our last episode where we talked about Florida Keys for families. I think Key West is one of those places, it can be anything to anybody. So if you are a couple, it's a great place. If you're celebrating a milestone birthday, it's a great place and you're bringing all your friends. If you are a family and you're coming in with young kids or multi-generations, so much to do for everybody around Florida Keys and Key West. But let's talk about some practical tips here. I always say, no matter who you're traveling with or how you're traveling. Do one major thing, planned activity a day, and leave the rest of the day open so that it doesn't feel so rushed and planned. This isn't a place or a destination where you want to overdo the day. If you really want to do those sunset cruises or those food tours or those cocktail classes, some of those are sell out pretty quickly, especially during peak season. So be sure if what you absolutely want to do is booked and you've got that taken care of. Wear those comfy shoes. And I'm going to make that caveat. Those comfy shoes could be sneakers. They could be flip-flops. They could be sandals. It could be whatever is comfy for you because you're going to probably do a lot of walking. Key West is a very walkable town, and you're not going to, you're not going to have a car. I'm going to tell you right now, don't bring a car, leave it parked. It's going to be too hard to find parking. So you're going to walk, Uber, bike, all of that, but get comfy shoes. Hydrate, hydrate, and hydrate, and then hydrate again. You don't want to need to be hydrated. You want to stay hydrated. So, to have that glass of water in between cocktails, it's warm. It's warmer than you think. So make sure you get yourself hydrated because that Key West heat and sun can sneak up on you and you don't want that. I think the other thing is don't overthink the trip too much. Doesn't matter who you're traveling with, but don't overthink the trip too much. Sometimes the really fun things happen when weird things occur. When it's unplanned and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that was fun. We didn't plan it, but it's one of those memories that you constantly talk about. I think Key West is a place that really embraces anybody and everybody, and there's something for everybody in Key West. If you just want to sit by a pool and read a book, and that's what you two want to do, it can do that too. It's a great place. It's not fancy, and it doesn't have to be fancy. A Key West trip for a couple can be a sunset cruise, a food tour, a cocktail class. It's a ghost story. It's a shared slice of key lime pie, or it's just wandering together through the neighborhoods of Key West and just looking at all of the wonderful architecture that is tucked away in these side streets of Key West. And I think that the best trips are those that are not overly scheduled, that allow for that spontaneous things that happen. Maybe you find a band that is amazing and you just want to sit there and listen to all 3 or 4 of their sets. It's not a bad way to spend a day, is it? So let the island guide you, and I think that's going to be the best advice, is just to let that island guide you. So, again, I want to thank our sponsor for our show today. And that is the Key West Food Tours. And you can learn a whole lot more over at FunInKeyWest.com food tour. And if you want to explore the island as a couple through the food tour, I'm telling you, this is the way to do it. Pick one of the tours. You can't really go wrong with any of them. You will walk away with a new favorite place, a new favorite drink, a new favorite food, a new favorite place that it's going to be on your list that you're going to continually come back to again and again and again. Trust me on that one. So I am Michelle with Fun in Key West. I am so glad that you joined me today for this conversation about things to do as a couple in Key West. And there is so much more information over at FunInKeyWest.com. Lots of free guides, lots of information. Plus, you can sign up for the book club over there and grab our newsletter. As always, thank you for being part of this. Thank you for being just who you guys are. I really appreciate all the support that you guys do. I can't do this without you guys. And I really appreciate everything that you guys do. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. So whether you're the sunset sail with champagne kind of couple or the let's hunt for ghosts and eat key lime pie at midnight duo, I hope you found some fresh ideas for your next trip. Key West is whatever you want it to be. So just go at your own pace, grab a drink, and let the island do its thing. A massive thank you to today's sponsor, Key West Food Tours. Seriously, if you want to avoid the dreaded, where do you want to eat conversation on your vacation, book a tour at FunInKeyWest.com/food tour. It's a literal relationship saver. You are very welcome. If you are hungry for more island inspiration, head over to FunInKeyWest.com. We have got free guides, trip ideas, and all the local secrets you didn't know you needed. And I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me today. You are the absolute best a girl could ever ask for. Have a fabulous day. Keep embracing that island weirdness, and I'll catch you next time.